Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Good to be with you. Thank you very much.
So today, Governor Abbott has announced he's directed the TCEQ to accept an offer from the San Juan River water from Mexico. And I'm wondering, how big of a deal is this and what brought this about?
Well, we've had a real water shortage, drought problem in South Texas. We've lost our sugarcane industry down there, not enough water for the farmers. So the last processing plant closed down. We bulldozed 6,000 acres of citrus. Our vegetable growers down there had enough water for one crop where they usually, grow four or five. So it's in dire needs. Mexico signed a treaty with us about in 1944 to share the water in the Rio Grande River. They're behind on their water bill. They still owe us 1 million acre feet, and they're just not going to be able to pay it. They did have some good fortune on the east side of Mexico in the San Juan watershed. They got a lot of rain. They have two lakes there. They're both over capacity. One's at 118%, the other 120 something percent. So they started releasing that water into the Rio Grande, but it's below any dams. There's no way to catch it. It was running right out into the Gulf of Mexico. So by executive order, I declared that the farmers in that area should use that for irrigation instead of just wasting it and letting it go by. Uh, that caused a lot of concern, and the TCEQ and the International Water Board couldn't figure out how to account for the water. And I just said, well, don't count it. Just let them use it. Don't worry about it. And anyway, the positive part of it, it got all the sides talking again, and now we have an agreement with Mexico to let them count that against their water debt, and we've ironed our differences out, and so it looks like we're actually getting somewhere. And the cities along the Rio Grande are going to have some water that they probably wouldn't have had, and the farmers are finally going to have some water they can irrigate.
And so is this is this the solution or is this a band-aid?
It's a band-aid. Anything short of a high event rainfall, is what it's going to take to fix the situation. Like I said, on the Rio Grande, there's only two lakes. Falcon is at 12% capacity, and Amistad is like 20%.
Mm.
So they're almost dry, and there's not much groundwater down there. So we're out of options. So this helps. This will let us live to fight another day. Farmers can grow their winter vegetables, with enough irrigation water to do that. We won't have to push out any more citrus trees, hopefully. This will keep a lot of farmers from filing bankruptcy.
Wow. I mean, it's that dire of a situation.
It really is. The whole state is out of water. We've the state of Texas owns all the surface water, and we've allocated it all. We still have people moving in here from California, but they don't bring any water with them. They use ours, and we're at capacity, and no one's talking about it. But we've got to address our infrastructure problems. We lose a lot of water because of old, inadequate infrastructure. We've got to embrace desalinization. We've got to embrace rainwater harvesting. We've got to do a better job of stormwater drainage. We need to capture that water. We're not building enough lakes. We need to build off channel storage when our rivers have high rainfall. We're not doing any of this.
Why not?
So we need to quit complaining about Mexico not paying their bill, and take care of our own needs. Do something about it.
Well, you brought up a good point. Why isn't the state of Texas doing anything about it?
Well, I think we are. We're getting this incident has brought some attention to it. I know the legislature is looking at addressing these needs. I have grants to help with infrastructure improvements. So the Texas Water Development Board has $6 billion for water projects that we can tap into. There's federal programs. So I think now these cities and counties are getting the message that they can't grow, they can't expand, they can't add any more population without water. So now's the time to get busy.
Right. I mean, because, you talked about the impact on farmers, but we have a lot of big businesses that have moved here, and they rely on water as well, right? I mean, for some of these manufacturing plants, and same thing like you said about residents moving here.
Well, and a good example of that, there's a Central Texas community right off I-35. Developers came in there and bought 800 acres. We're going to develop it into multifamily and single residence housing. They went to the city to work out getting water meters and that. And the city told them, we're sorry, we don't have enough water for that 800-acre development. We can't supply your water. So the whole deal was scrapped, and that's happening all up and down the I-35 corridor. So it's a
Really?
serious problem. Yeah.
And there's another report that came out today by Texas 2036 talking specifically about this, that the state needs to, do something more to build up the water infrastructure. And they also spoke about leaky pipes and new reservoirs. I'm wondering, isn't there opposition from rural communities, though, to have these big reservoirs, dug up essentially, and then send all that water out to the big cities that need it?
Oh, it's a big fight. Every time we try to do one, it's a big fight, and rightfully so. I mean, that's private land that has to be, taken by eminent domain. It's not, it wipes out the timber industry. It wipes out farmland. It's very painful to go through. So that's why we don't. One of the reasons, plus environmental concerns, is another one that locks up a lot of us being able to build new reservoirs and lakes around the state. But a lot of these communities are, doing what they can. One of the bright spots is our oil and gas industry. They have been known to use fresh water for fracking and lots of it. They realize the situation's dire, so they've started using desal on brackish water and cleaning up brackish water to frack with. And they've started recycling water, using it more than once. So, and that they're about 30% there. So that's good. That's a start. The rest of Texas needs to follow suit.
And I'm wondering, what does the state legislature need to do? Because I remember back last year, I guess it was 2023, there was a constitutional amendment that I believe that passed for water development. Isn't that right?
That's right. That's there, and you'll see more of that this legislative session. I've had discussions with Senator Perry. He's got a comprehensive water bill to address the needs that I just laid out earlier.
Up in the Panhandle
Well, for the whole state, yeah,
for
but
the whole state.
he's from Lubbock, actually.
And I was just going to ask you, what about North Texas? I mean, obviously, the Dallas-Fort Worth region is one of the fastest growing in the United States. And how are we doing up here with regards to that?
Well, not very well. Like you said, it's one of the fastest growing areas of the whole United States, not just the state, but I think we have 8 of the 10 fastest growing counties in the United States are right here in Texas. We still have over 1,000 new Texans move in every day, but like I said earlier, they're not bringing any water with them. So North Texas, they're straining. They're in some discussions about adding lakes, and it's causes a lot of pain and gnashing of teeth with some people up there.
And you spoke about the desalinization and putting up a plant that can do that. I mean, are there any plans for that?
Well, we're already doing it. El Paso and Big Spring have been doing it for about 15 years. I'm down here in South Texas. Alice, Texas is getting off of lake water, and they are going 100% desal. They're using brackish water, which is actually salt water that's groundwater that's too salty to drink. It's not as high salt content as seawater, so it's a lot cheaper to clean up. So yeah, we can do things like that. If a small town like Alice, Texas, can get off their lake water, a lot of other cities can too.
And I wanted to ask you because your name has come up a lot recently when you talk about Texans who could be in the President-elect Donald Trump's second cabinet. And so I'm wondering, A, what do you think about being on that list? And B, have you had any conversations with the transition team about, that job, that post?
Well, be honest, I'm just honored to be considered. It's quite an honor to be on that list. That list is got a lot of people that are worthy and well qualified to lead the nation's, United States Department of Agriculture. So I'm very honored and flattered to be even considered. I have been working with the transition team to help fill out all the Senate approved appointments within the USDA. I've got a list of really good people that are committed to, supporting Donald Trump, supporting Bobby Kennedy's, Make America Healthy Again. I have not had direct relations about me taking a position there, a cabinet position, but I don't know that anyone has. To my knowledge, no one has.
And what do you think that the Trump administration coming in is looking for with regards to direction of the USDA?
Well, number one, question I ask everybody that I'm recommending is, are you 110% loyal to Donald Trump? If we don't get the first question answered, the interview's over. The second question I ask him is, can you work to make America healthy again? Can you work with Bobby Kennedy's agenda to make us healthy again? And that's should be a bipartisan issue there. I don't know anybody that doesn't want us to be more healthy. So that's the main two questions I asked them, and then I think you'll see some shock and awe with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy on their government efficiency. Right now, the USDA has 100,000 employees, the second largest federal agency, only behind the military. But they will if we do what Elon Musk did with Twitter, he replaced, cut about 80% of them out. He's running it with 20% of the people that he had when he bought it. So look for that. I think that's going to be interesting. There's already talk of eliminating entire federal agencies.
And as far as the Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, I mean, don't they really help the rural communities that aren't tied to any, big city, or, they won't have a big county government or a big city government. So how necessary is the USDA when it comes to helping these smaller communities in rural areas?
Well, there's nothing that the USDA does that the state cannot do. Matter of fact, the state would probably do it better and more efficient. USDA does rural economic development, rural infrastructure grants, block grants, things like that. But the biggest part of USDA is social programs. It's food stamps, SNAP, and WIC, and things like that. That's over 80% of their budget is programs like that.
And are you suggesting that they cut those programs?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's the right word, to cut the programs. I think it would be more accurate to hand control of those programs over to the states and let them manage.
But all the while maintaining a safety net, if you will, for people.
Well, sure, yeah, we're not going to let anybody go hungry. I mean, that's not what it's about. It's about government efficiency and doing it the most efficient way. And our government's bloated. I agree with them on that. And I think most Americans would agree with that too.
And my last question to you, and I appreciate your time, and that is when you said you asked two basic questions to the people who are going through these interviews to be potentially part of the second Trump administration. When you ask them about making America healthy again, what is the definition that you're looking for?
Well, we have a problem in that our agriculture products, we can't sell most of our products into the European Union because of the amount of pesticides and chemicals in them. So that will need to be addressed. But it's much broader than that. It's about getting these forever chemicals like PFAS out of our food system. It's about collecting and properly disposing expired dangerous chemicals and pesticides that are sitting around in barns all over the United States. It's about addressing mental health etc. So it's a wide menu of things that constitute making America healthy again, besides just our food products.
All right, Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.